Welcome to the Women's Day special edition of the A&I podcast. We today have Meryl Savitri from Savitri Studios and Rashmi Rathi from Vinay and Rashmi. Everyone knows the success, but very few know the journey. Right? So we would want to know journey of yours as to how has it been from when you started and to here today.
It's been a long journey. I mean, I can't even recollect how so many years have passed by, but yeah, I mean, it's not always been a bed of roses. It's been ups and downs, but I think as a woman, you come with the resilience that people don't see. So we're here today.
Same here. It's been a very, very long journey. It's been 25 years now. Not been a bed of roses. So lots of ups and downs. But then I think we are taught to go through that.
All right, but so let's say being women, or even to the listeners who are watching this, as a woman, how difficult or how easy is it to be being a working professional at the same time managing your family, kids back home, and at the same time being equally passionate about your career? How difficult is for the people to understand that a woman can also be passionate about her work and she can also be serious about her career?
I think I'll give the credit to my mother, because my mom always said that keep on doing something, don't sit idle. And I think that I took it very, very seriously. And to add it on, I did architecture. I mean, my journey of convincing myself and the world started right from there. When I took up architecture, and then it's been like, it was not easy that time. Very few girls were into
True.
that 5-year course of architecture.
True.
So it was very difficult for the society to take a grasp of it.
Right.
So
And also, architecture again as a field. Don't you? Is it not that male dominant? And girls getting into architecture, is it very welcoming? Or how is it? Is that acceptance there in terms of let's say,
it was earlier,
Uh-huh.
but now I don't think there is any barrier between a girl and a boy. You should do architecture or not pursue civil engineering or something like that. I think now it's absolutely fine.
No, in fact, I think I'll pick up a couple of things from what she said and reiterate. You said, how does it feel as a woman to be taking this journey and all?
Right.
Is it easy? Is it hard?
Right.
Well, I'll say that the day I enrolled for architecture, I think I enrolled for hard. So the college automatically puts you through a lot of hard stuff. So you're kind of wired to accept difficult challenges, whether it's design, whether it's the field, everything about architecture. So I'll say, womanhood and architecture are kind of like, on a way balance. They're kind of similar, but that's something I'll agree with. And I'll also, I think what you said is true. Well, so coming to the male dominance part of your question, I don't know how far that's true or how far that stands right, because when I was doing architecture, I think 70% of my class was all very beautiful women. And then there were 30% that were men. So I never felt like this is going to be a man's world. Of course, only after I stepped in on field is when I saw that a lot of people on site are all men. And, very, very rarely do you see skilled laborers being women. But like I said, I knew that I'm entering into a world, but my class was 70% women and I was prepared for this. So I don't see it as a male's world or a female's world at all.
having said that, on a lighter note in the college, the girls used to always get preference over anything.
But that,
True.
I think that only stuck to college. Outside, I think that's not the case. I've lost a lot of projects by the way because I'm a woman. So-called, whatever. So yeah.
So that's still there in that
Yes,
case.
it is. It still existed. Yeah.
So what's the message that you want to give? At least for the generations to come, and for them not to face this challenge. So to the audience who's listening to us, so one message that you want to pass on in terms of that you don't want this bias, and how do you what's the message that you have for the audience who create this bias?
Initially, I agree it is little difficult to put your stamp that I am also good in all aspects. But then eventually the society will start accepting.
Probably your work speaks after a point
your
in time.
work speaks.
I think I wouldn't agree any better than that. I think what you said is so true. Your knowledge has to speak and not your gender. That is something that I would definitely tell the future generation, that let your knowledge speak. I don't think you being a woman or a man or anything in between also should make any difference at all.
Now, this is for the parents. So let's say बेटियों को पढ़ा तो देते हैं, but it's just कि हाँ मतलब ठीक है hobby है तो ठीक है पढ़ लो. But when you talk about a professional career, a journey, right? Again, they are not wrong when they think of it, but having, let's say, if I have two daughters back home, if I think of them being an architect, right? So the first thing I have on my mind is they being on site, and the men working, the laborers working. So that is probably a concern of every parent, right? So don't you think when a girl child picks up architecture as a career, this resistance also comes from home, and is that fair, or how do you want to address that?
It is, but like I said, when you have the right amount of knowledge and when you've proved yourself in terms of your skill, I don't think that should hold you back, whether it's from home or outside, friends, family, relatives, anything. I don't think that should matter at all, because if you have what it takes to be there, I think you should.
And the parents who think so, a message for them, as
I feel once you proved yourself that I'm, academically, that I'm doing good, parents will automatically, accept it. That yeah, she's really good, and I think they will support their kids.
And I think
Awesome.
you should
Yeah.
get them to hear Beti Padhao,
Padhao.
Beti Bachao. I think you should make them hear that.
So how's your life changed? I mean, in terms of your career, before and after your marriages, it's been still same, or has there been a shift of let's say in terms of preferences, in terms of priorities?
Frankly, I got married immediately. I passed out.
Wow,
So that transition, I never had a long transition. I finished my studies, just 3 months of gap, and I got married.
awesome.
Of course, after my marriage, there were a lot of responsibilities. It was a typical Marwadi household.
Oh wow, okay.
So, as much as I was taught that I should study and pursue my qualification, I was also taught that take care of your in-laws, your husband, your kids, take care of the house.
Right.
So it was a tedious job in the beginning.
So
It was a hell lot of work.
and how did you keep up to it? Because you're just starting your career, and you also were starting, your marriage has just started. So
The positive point with me was my husband is also an architect. So
right.
he was a very big, what I can call it, a mediator, to convince my in-laws.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, she's also going to work with me. That is the first thing. Now you tell me what. So I started slowly with part time.
Right.
Eventually, I increased the time span.
So all the husbands out there who is listening,
Yeah.
you better support your wives.
Yes, we do need a lot of support from our husbands.
True,
So
true,
for,
true.
so for me, it's been a very, very different journey, because, well, I don't know if that's a good side or bad, but I don't have in-laws. My husband grew up in an orphan home, and so when I stepped in and got married, I knew that I had to take charge. I didn't have anyone to lean back on, whether it was just marriage. But just being married also was still okay, because it was me and him, and all the understanding was just between the both of us. I have 3 kids, by the way, so that I think was a bigger challenge for me. That changed my life a lot more than just marriage, because like I said, see, for her she had in-laws and like so many other things. But for
Right.
me, I didn't have in-laws. But even then, my responsibility and my role as an architect and as a homemaker, or as a wife, also changed. But it changed even further when I had my first child, and then I had my second, and then I had my third. And so those breaks that you take, more than anything else, it's that you can say it's that inner self of you that changes. It's so hard to bounce back. It's so hard to believe in yourself again, because you've taken so many breaks. In fact, I vividly remember this scene. I think just after my daughter was born, I had reached out to one of my friend, my classmate, and I said, buddy, I want to bounce back to work, but I feel very lost. Do you think you can help me, guide me, tell me what's happening in the market? And the response that I got was, why do you need to get back, Ray? You're doing fine for yourself. Your husband's doing fine. Why do you need to, put yourself through all of this? Right, that this is a man's world. Do you really want to do this? But cut to a little later than that, exactly 1 year after that, because I believed in myself. Exactly 1 year after that, I was on the stage receiving an award, and he was down, applauding for me. So journey, I think it's all a mindset more than anything else. Your journey is your mindset.
Awesome. Now we talk about mindset. How do you look at it when probably where the women is more successful, than the man in a relationship?
I like to take this question first. Do you mind?
Yeah. Carry on.
No, because it reminds me of a very funny incident. Not once, like multiple times. My husband keeps doing this. Every time I land a good project, or I'm talking about big stuff, and I come back home and I'm like, I talk to him and tell him everything about my day. And so when he hears about the kind of project and my fee and all of that, he's like, "Oh, so when can I give my resignation paper at the office?" And I'm like, "Not yet. I mean, I can't match your pay package, but yeah, I mean." So, I think what I would like to say to all the women out there is marry the kind of man that is proud of you and not jealous of you, because, or rather, marry a man that admires you, adores you. If you see that a man can't take what you're doing, then I think that's your red flag already. I don't think there's anything beyond that you should know. And if I'm here today, if she's here today, I think both of us will agree. And in fact, all the women out there who are working, I think we'll agree that it's primarily because, the man is supportive is why we are here today. If they thought of us differently, then I don't know where we would have been. So success, I think, is interdependent on who you marry. Marry the right person.
True. And when you talk about support, I think maybe men, maybe women, everyone needs support. Let's say even a man growing up, doing good in his career, it's probably someone, probably parents or someone who supported him to be there, right? So when you talk about a woman, I mean, she's not married. So it's obvious that the parents would have supported, and then probably provided whatever was required for them to be where they're now. Because they are in your house, it becomes a moral responsibility to probably support. You're not doing any favor, or you're not doing any kind of extra thing. It is just your responsibility, because you have, someone is leaving their home and coming to you. So that's basic what you can do, I believe. Right. Awesome. So now talking about your careers, right? In terms of architecture. So let's say when you started to where you are today, do you remember any point, or anything that you want, probably something in your journey that probably changed the entire course, or probably something that actually helped you bounce back in your careers?
There are a lot of incidents. I think especially when you lose a project, that's a big bounce back, and it's happened many times. So I think when you're pulled down, my nature is that when I'm pulled down, I tend to give my fullest then. So then
Right.
I bounce up big.
Awesome.
So it's happened many times, and then lot of things have happened when we were dumped with we were not given fees. The work was done completely, because that time back then, like I'm talking about 20 years back, it was all verbal. Nothing was signed and all.
Right.
So when we got dumped twice or thrice, then the things changed. Like we got little systematic on the payment terms and all, and then we systemized the whole office itself, how things should go, what time, what plans, what details should go.
Right.
That way.
In terms of strategies, in terms of SOPs and all.
Yes.
Awesome.
It's something that I'd like to say is, quite sad though, but when I was pregnant with my last child, a client actually, out of frustration because of see, delays happen. It's just inevitable, and so although I didn't really want it, but I think I was 9 months pregnant then, and I had major sciatica, and I still showed up for selections, all of that. But because of something between, I think, their budget and the client, the vendor, something happened. And I remember that this client made a statement saying, I really regret taking a pregnant woman on board. That to me was an eye opener. I woke up and I was like, you know what? The pregnant me is 10 times better than the just normal you. So, what are you saying? I housed a human inside of me thrice in my life. You can't tell me I'm incapable. That's absolutely something that I would never want to hear. How about you do what I'm doing, and then let's talk about it. If you had a fever, you wouldn't step out of home and make a selection. I showed up with sciatica, being fully pregnant, 1 week away from my delivery, and still standing there doing selections. In fact, I remember my vendor, Bhaiya said to me, he's like, "Ma'am, आप इतना tired दिख रहे हो, मतलब कैसे कर लेते हो आप ये? अगर मेरे घर में रहता तो मतलब मैं तो बोलता कि आप just relax. You're in the 9th month, you should relax." I said, "Yeah, I know, I agree, but then I also have this passion for my work, and so I don't want them to suffer when I take my break. So I just want to finish as much as I can, and I do it." That's the mindset that I had as a woman, versus what he was saying is, I really regret, onboarding a pregnant woman just because of his frustration. I think that's something that men definitely need to change. It woke me up.
This So when you say 9 months pregnant, still showing up at work, I can understand. Obviously, cannot feel it because it's only an experience that probably we are not blessed to have that
But I'm
experience.
so glad you can't.
But people have people have excuses. People have stuff not to show up. People have अगर छोटा सा बुखार भी हो जाए, whatever, people try to have excuses not to not to turn up. And 9 months pregnant, what was that one reason, what's that still kept you pushing, and what that still brought you to work? Because it's very difficult. And I know a lot of people. I know at least this generation especially. I mean, I know people, अगर खरोच भी आ जाए तो it's like भाई बहुत चोट लगी, and I cannot turn up to work. That's the attitude what people have. Unless you have very very strong reason, I don't think that's possible. So what actually pushed you to be on the side on first elections, even when you're 9 months pregnant?
I think, like I said, when a woman steps into work, it's not just the matter of earning money. It's also passion for her, because if you don't have passion, you cannot do multiple roles. And I think every woman would agree, she would also
Agree to
agree
that. Yeah,
that
completely.
being a mom, being a wife, and then also being at work, if you're not passionate, you can't do it. It's just impossible if you're not passionate. If it's just another job for you, then I don't think you would show up, because you're like, मेरा क्या जाना है? I mean, काम ही तो है, कल देख लेंगे. But then if you're passionate, you will make it a point to show up. And I think it's very important. I think all women out there, it's not just about me. See, I have had the privilege to sit here, and so I'm able to tell you my story. But then there's so many moms out there that don't talk about it, because if they do talk about it, people will be like, why do you even have to do this? छोड़ो ना, मैं हूं ना, मैं संभाल लूंगा ना, मैं कमा तो रहा हूं. It's not about earning. It's not about any of that. It's about the dream. It's about when you tick your counseling form and when you want to go to college, you have dreams, you have aspirations.
True.
And as human as any other man, as human as anybody else, so are we women. How is it any different? It's passion that drives us, and I think that's how it should
Actually,
be.
if we don't do it, something within me eats me.
I
What
definitely
have I done? What am I doing? So I think that is enough to drive me through. I have to do something. I have to, day on day prove myself. I'm better. I'm at it. So that drives
So
me.
probably not just skills, but passion is something
Yeah,
which is more
Definitely.
important.
In our field, passion only works.
absolutely.
Awesome. But why architecture?
Because women are complex and they like complexity.
I
agree.
have very weird reasons.
I think we're just, I don't know, why are we so wired to be complex? But एक तो हम लोग है ही complex, ऊपर से हम लोग फील भी ऐसा चूज कर लेते हैं जो इतना complex है कि as if complexity is not enough. So I think we're epitomes of complexity. That's why.
How about you? Why did you choose architecture?
I don't know. I had two of my cousins pursuing architecture. So I'd always seen them doing that small detailing with hands and all. And I really enjoyed helping them. So that was one reason. And second weird reason is really weird. So my granny wanted me to get married.
Okay.
You finish your graduation, BA, BCom and get married. So at that time, architecture was only the 5-year course.
Oh wow.
So
You did it as an escape.
yeah, it was as an escape also. So I get 2 year more
Awesome.
to be with my parents.
But आज शायद you must be thanking your granny. Thank
Yes.
you
yes,
that.
yes. You never know how life will,
True.
pave the journey.
Awesome. Do you remember your first project? I always tell you that even when I started working, I still remember my first gig that I took up. It is still very dear, very close to me. I mean, that's kind of my first love. So something, your first project that, you backed it by your own. How was the feeling and what was it about?
Yes, I do remember. And the amount of input that had gone in, there were no 3Ds, etc. that time. So everything was in 2D and just explaining and sketching. So I remember I had painted a wall for the client.
I still do.
Because now it's so easy to pick up, artists and I want this and improvise. But that time I had stood and, done a full mural for them. So it's so special. Even the first client of mine, remember that.
Awesome. That's sweet.
So,
For me, the first was I landed a very, very passionate job, which is as an assistant professor. So that's where I started. And that was like my biggest encouragement, because I knew that, my college entrusted me with students that are learning and they wanted they thought I was an inspiration enough, and that itself was big for me. Something that I'll never forget. But of course, in terms of project, I think last time also I was telling somebody about my project, and my first project, the client had no brief. He just had a briefcase, and he's like, "ये लो पैसे, ये मेरा घर, बना लो." I was like, "ये कैसा client है?" मतलब for a first that was ridiculous. I was like, "Oh wow, I really wish he knew something because मुझे भी कुछ आता नहीं है, मैं क्या बोलूं?" but I learned so much from there to where I am now. I think yeah, it's been a journey.
The first clients are really so, they trust us with everything.
Right.
They
True.
don't know who we are, it's just the beginning. And they just trust us with so much.
कभी
So
खुद
they're
को भी
very
लगता है कि
you start doubting actually during that process.
true
क्या चल रहा है?
Nice. Now talking about that, so let's say, I mean, today you've been doing many projects across and all. One project that probably was a milestone project that you feel that probably helped that took your career to probably the next level.
There are a few.
If you want to share any,
In fact, my first project was a milestone. It was,
because you came with a
it was
briefcase.
No, I mean, yeah, that was a lot of money for the first project. But also, having said that, it was a 4-story home, and so I had so much to learn. And for me, I think the definition of a milestone is outsmarting yourself in every step of life. That is achievement for me. It's not about how much your fee has been bumped up or what your credibility is in the market. Did you receive an award? Did you not? For me, that of course, yes, that's reward. But for me, achievement is when I get better at every project. So for me, every project is a milestone in itself, and it takes me further.
Yeah, every time when you're designing something, we are at it like, how can I do this differently and in a better way? So there are a lot of milestones that way. Some project really challenge you with that. I want something different.
Awesome. Okay. So when you design something, so what's the kind of inspirations that you have? I mean, everyone has their own design language, right? So what are your design languages? What is that you? I mean, in terms of aesthetics, in terms of do you like it minimal? Do you like it loud? How is it? What do you guys?
I
do?
am a very minimal person. But
And
then,
So am I.
but it takes a lot to convince the client with that minimalistic approach.
Absolutely.
We have to do a few things for the client, even if you would agree. Even if we don't like it and we feel that this is not the right thing, but they want it that way. My forte, if you ask me, my choice is minimalistic.
So I think
Just-
everybody that's watching this podcast today is not going to agree that
Yeah.
Amit, her or me are minimalist, because I don't think
Yeah.
with this. I mean, the color palette on the screen is going to go viral. I think we're out and out loud. But having said that, I think my approach is also very minimal. I like homes that speak volumes in terms of textures, in terms of very subtle colors. And I think where that comes from is when I grew up, I grew up in Dubai. Very, very loud in terms of its interiors, the entire cityscape and all of that. Very loud. Expatriate country, so many people, so many nationalities I met. But when I would come back home, my home would be all white. My dad made sure that my fridge was white, washing machine white, everything was white. TV, of course, not, but everything like sofa, curtains, everything was white. And I remember every weekend he would make us scrub the bathtub to look whiter than it was last week. And so white kind of stuck in my head. And I was like, wow, what is this? And so, I think growing up also, because my dad was a minimalist, I picked that style up inherently. And I feel like I became a minimalist because of that. But eventually, after, being exposed to maximalism outside of my home, I think looking at the vast difference, I chose minimalism as my design language.
In fact, we recently designed our own house. So the clients kept asking, what are you doing special? I said, nothing. Only walls.
I
Absolutely nothing.
I agree. If you come home, I mean, you guys are welcome home. But if you come home, you'll see that there's just beiges, browns,
Yeah.
whites, and nothing else. I mean,
Or
I'm
the
sorry, I
shades.
can't think of another color at home. We don't have
except for
colours.
the wardrobe.
Even my wardrobe is glass shutters.
Except what's inside the
Yeah.
wardrobe.
I'm out and out loud. I think I'm unapologetic about my wardrobe.
So, if you can share your obstacles in terms of your professional as well as personal life, and how did you overcome them?
So professional life is the first thing that should I give the project to a female. Good that my husband was always with me. So it was always like Vinay and Rashmi. Rashmi is not
Right.
the Vinay is there. So that was always, sorted out for me.
Right.
But at home, I think as a mother and as a wife, as a daughter-in-law, you always have that thing that you are giving less to the family. I think that thing will always be there, and you will be feeling that I'm giving less to my child. I should be full-time mother. I should be a full-time wife. I should be a full-time homemaker because the house is not sorted because half the time I'm outside. But then I think we need to accept that this is going to be there and act accordingly.
Right.
There's a lot of times when I walk back home and I open my door and I see my home messy, and the kind of guilt that I feel, Gen Z will say guilt trip. That's what I think Generation Z will say cringe, bro.
Yeah.
That's what I feel. I mean, I walk back home, I'm like, wow. But then I also think to myself, so what if the home is messy one day? I'm doing all of this for them, right? I mean, what am I going to get what am I without my kids? What am I going to be doing without them? And so everything that I do is for them. And so that guilt is something that is a big obstacle in my own head. Matlab, whether or not somebody says it, in my head it's always ringing very loud. That is one. And then I think that's on the personal end. Then coming to the professional end, having 3 kids, their schedules, my schedules, it's so hard to keep up with time sometimes. And a couple of years back, it was such a problem for clients that I walked in late, or if I had an excuse, their face would change. But I'm so glad that people have become inclusive of working moms. And now when I go late to the site, they're absolutely fine with it because they understand that I'm a mom. Sometimes on the meeting while I'm speaking on my phone, even though my phone has an isolation mode, my son's high pitched voice is so loud that the client can actually hear him screaming. But they're okay with it because they've all come to terms that working women also can manage the balance between home and this.
Right.
But that definitely is an obstacle. So for people who are annoyed with this kind of a behavior, where I can't step in on time. Yeah, but what it is, it's life. I mean, I can't help it. My
Cannot-
kids are equally as important as my work. There's no two ways about it.
Agreed, 100%. All right. So understanding, I mean, knowing your careers, knowing the kind of work you do, the kind of chaotic life you have, where you manage people at work, then go back manage again people back home. So how do you take time for yourself, and what is that you guys do to recharge yourself and again probably be back at the same frame of mind and get back to work?
Just before this podcast started, I was telling her that I don't think there's the word called unwind in my life because it's like a cycle. When I'm overwhelmed with my kids, work is my unwind. When I'm overwhelmed with work, my kids are my unwind.
Absolutely.
I don't
agree
see a
with
world
you.
apart of that. So I'm like, wow, this is a life
No,
cycle.
at the stage what you are, it's right. But
Yeah.
now I have crossed that thing. My son is studying abroad, and now I have a lot of leisure time for myself. So I do a lot of things. I sketch, I watch movies, I go trekking. So a lot of things to unwind.
Awesome. Nice. So were there moments where you felt that you guys you were just underestimated just because you were a woman?
Been there so many times.
Yeah.
Disappointed, but yeah, I've been there. There have been times when I've lost projects to, a male designer just because they felt like I'd probably not be good enough to handle on-site work. I'm probably, to all those short women out there, just like me, wearing 6-inch heels. But, but yeah, looking at my height, looking at my personality, also because I'm a woman, a lot of people have, taken aback their trust and felt like, do you think you can handle this? They've even asked me, do you think you can handle this? And I just tell them, try it. Jana bhi kya hai? Paise hi to hai. Give it a shot.
But I think not taking sides, but I think women, if they can manage chaotic men like us, तो I think काम तो शायद easy है manage करना. I mean,
हम हैं बाकी सब पानी कम है.
obviously, I mean, you manage your house, you manage kids, and you have a grown-up kid back home, you manage them. So I think work to manage हो जाएगा. I mean, that should not be a big task.
No, I think in my case, it's my husband that manages me. He manages me so well. I actually am surprised that he manages me like that. Like, he thinks I'm a baby. In fact, what makes me the happiest is when I go back home after a really, really tired day. In the lift, I'm like, okay, I have to breathe before I walk in home because I have to leave all my stress outside the door. And I'm not sure what's inside and what's waiting for me. But when I open the door, to my surprise, no crying children, food is taken care of. They're just listening to a story from dad, and dad is ready to put them to bed. Once that's done, he dims down all the lights, makes sure that I get my relaxation because he knows I had a very stressful day at work. And then, he calls my maid and says, serve her the dinner right here. I don't think she has the patience to sit on the dining table. And I'm like, wow, what am I married? I mean,
I think even I'm blessed on that aspect.
yeah.
So whenever I'm late, it's like Vinay calls up, you want some preparation to be done for dinner? And then I'll tell him, and then everything is like the basic preparation is done. So it's so good, to come back home and see like everything is sorted out.
So he's like my home automation.
You know, guys, I mean, lot of men after this are going to have problems,
Well, yeah. I mean,
including me, I believe.
I
One
think-
In fact,
time-
when my son was young,
Yeah.
when he used to go to school, so we had planned things alternately,
yes.
So I work out in the morning. So by the time I'm in the kitchen, you wake up my son, get him ready, get him down, the milk is done. So it used to be like, alternate things for him. So
It's more of a partnership.
yeah.
Absolutely. I think there's so many times my husband has put off his travel just because I need to be there on site. And that to me is just something that, I don't know. I mean, I think Vinay and Naveen, my husband, have set the bar very high.
I agree.
I
I
agree.
agree.
Yeah.
Actually, we are blessed.
Absolutely. I count it a blessing.
I know this part of the video, and trust me, there are a lot of. I mean, this is gonna get a lot of shares as well because I know every woman watching this will share it to their husbands, will share it to their friend's husband, will share it to husband's husband. I don't know to who all.
Okay, so
Awesome.
because it's going to go viral, I'd like to say this. Naveen, thank you so much, and I absolutely love you.
Awesome. So, how do you handle criticism or rejections? Because that is something which is part and parcel of work. I mean, maybe male, maybe female.
You answered it. It's part and parcel of work. So you just accept it, and I think it charges us.
But does it not set you back, or probably for a moment?
For a moment, yes,
It does.
it does.
It does. There have been times when I've taken it very personally. A little earlier, a couple of years back,
Mhm.
I have taken criticism very personally, and it has broken me down. But like I said, I learned how to gracefully accept criticism, and that's exactly why I'm able to move forward. Because if not, then I would stagnate myself. So when you take criticism gently and gracefully, you learn to grow. Yeah. So yeah,
I think it should happen. So it's a way like you grow off it.
absolutely.
Also, probably I learned this through my career that a lot of people take rejection personally. But if you're sorted in the mind that the rejection, I mean, the person has not rejected me as a person, but probably the work I
But
do,
for the first time when criticism happens and you get rejected, it does.
It hurts.
It hurts.
Of course,
Right.
it does. It does.
It
It
takes
takes you to a
Yeah,
setback.
yeah.
It kind of
True.
pulls you into a setback. But I
Yes.
think what's more important is the comeback.
Yes.
true. It takes time for you to understand that. I mean, he's not said no to me as a person. I mean, he said no to the work probably.
Yeah.
People a lot of times spoil relations, and they get into ugly
Yes.
stuff which is not
Yes.
required, I believe.
Yeah.
Awesome. Now, how do you manage your work, right, on a daily basis, which is actually very high demanding? I mean, in terms of time and all, because there are multiple things that you guys manage. There's site, there's your office, your designers, your selections, client meetings. So, how do you manage all of this?
It's all about time management. We have to do a lot of, timetable has to be set daily. So, that this is my routine every day. I think once the time management is done, everything falls into place. In fact, you'll have more time to spare.
I agree with that. And I think something very interesting that keeps me going is I've learned how to let go of inhibitions. And that has made me a better person. For example, let's just say that, I'm running late, I'm coming in for a meeting. I'm at a vendor, I'm at a meeting. I need to head to a vendor for selections. I've let go of inhibitions. I make a phone call to my vendor and I say, Bhaiya, I'm on my way. I haven't had lunch. Do you really mind getting me a sandwich? I've stopped feeling, why should I do that? What will he feel? Car mein hi kha leti hu. I'm not bothered anymore. I've just realized that I think I'm human as much as they are. चबाते चबाते बात करने में कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, कर सकते हो, इंसान हो, करने में कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. I've learned that I have to let go of inhibitions, and that's when I'll be able to manage my time better. So, for example, I have to go to a meeting. My nanny has not showed up that day, and my son is crying. I still have to be there on site. I call in and I tell my workers, I'm coming in half an hour, stop all the work because there'll be a lot of dust. My son is coming with me. So I manage. I've stopped taking things into stress. I don't go into that stress and oh my god, what am I going to do now? How am I going to manage? किसका दरवाजा खटखटाऊं, बेटे को कहाँ रखूं? I'm like, लेके जाओ मेरे साथ, वो भी तो सीख लेगा. प्लाई क्या है, कीला क्या है, मोकीला क्या है, सीख लेगा मेरे साथ. So I
That's
think
the very reason my son said I am not doing architecture, because I carried him all throughout his younger age on the sites. He was like, मैं इतनी गंदी जगह पे नहीं आने वाला हूँ. I'm
It's the
not
other way
doing
around for me.
architecture.
It's the other way around for me. My daughter is, she wants to do architecture. She wants to be an architect. I was like, now that's more responsibility. You ask me, right, what keeps driving me? I'm like, yeah, लो. इसको अभी legacy छोड़ने की भी जिम्मेदारी मेरी है. She wants to be an architect. I don't want her to go through the entire cycle. So I want to set something solid for her, a good ground so that she can kind of, continue from there. So that's also one of my driving force.
My kid is the other way around.
But a classic example of motherhood as to, I mean, if a mother wants to do it, she will do it. I mean, carrying kids to work, that to sites where it's going to be dust and it's not going to be tidy, but still doing it. It's a classic example where you manage, your motherhood as well as your work.
Absolutely.
One interesting question. So let's say, husband wife working together. So क्या ये चीज आती है कि अच्छा ठीक है, because your husband is there तो शायद आपको ये काम मिल गया होगा, या अच्छा आपके husband देख, because ठीक है, you have your husband, he will
अभी
take
भी
care,
होता है.
आपको क्या है,
होता है.
that still
Yeah,
happens.
even if it's not that mine and his work separate, but people take it for granted कि इसका तो husband है ना, she will do good.
That still happens.
It happens.
But
Still happens.
but is it not that you will have your own roles defined?
We have our own roles defined.
Exactly.
But I don't know why people think that way.
So I mean,
Because-
this thing is something. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
well, I again. So I also, when I am working, so my wife also works along with me. We run an agency, so my wife is working with me, and I don't know. I mean, I got not have asked anything better than that, because I today I'm able to do what I'm able to do is only because she is able to manage all the operations back in the office. It's really difficult when you have 30-35 odd people working back, and you're chilling out and you're going here and there. But you need that person
Yeah.
to manage. So people have roles, right? So it's very important for people to understand that कोई है तो उसके वजह से काम नहीं हो रहा है. सबके अपने roles है, right?
But
And
it's good that we both understand each other that way. So people will keep saying what they want to, say and take what they want to take. But I am thankful that we both know who is doing what
right.
and how much who is dependent on the other. And frankly, I've learned it not to take it personally. I know what I am. Vinay knows what he is. So we are going along very well together.
No, that is how it is. I mean,
Yeah.
if you can respect in a relationship,
Yeah.
and that's how it is. If you can respect each other, respect and understand, what kind of value you bring on the table, right? And that mutual respect and understanding is that you really don't have to care what people think of it. What would that be one piece of advice that you'd want to give to the women out there who are juggling between roles the way you guys are doing? From a mother to a wife to probably a daughter-in-law, or to a daughter to probably a designer to an architect. What's an advice that you want to give? How do you handle things?
It will be the crux of all what we said.
Yeah,
right
I mean,
now.
it's like
Yeah.
what he's saying, in a nutshell, what is it that you want to tell people? I think I will say stay inspired and keep soaring. Because, just like how an eagle does, an eagle stays inspired on, its prey, and then it just keeps soaring so high that from where the eagle is looking, everything looks small. So reach a position in life where everything else looks so small to you that you can continue to stay inspired and keep inspiring. Because unless you are inspired, you can't inspire anybody, whether it's work or family or anyone for that matter.
I feel if you have a goal in mind, big enough, all these tiny things will look like, you should say jujubes or something. Raika Dana.
Raika Pahad.
Yeah, Raika Dana.
Raika.
I mean, have such big goals and do such big things that these things will, matter nothing to you.
And how do you keep your mental peace at place? And what would you probably suggest the audience? I mean, when you probably are doing so many things, it's obvious, at times it gets so chaotic. At times, I'm sure, at some point in time you must have got anxiety attacks. At some point of you must have feel start क्यों किया या फिर क्यों ही कर रहे हैं ये सब, right? So
होता है।
how do exactly? So how do you deal with it? How do you want people listening? What's that one message you want to pass it to them?
I think at such times you just take a step back. Just sit, meditate, listen to good music. Don't show your emotions immediately. And maybe then later you can handle in a more polite way. I think you should take a step back at such times. Observe yourself, observe the other people, and then go ahead.
What I personally do is when something takes me back, and when anxiety, I'm not an anxious person in general. My stress tolerance is very, very high, surprisingly. Like, stress is my adrenaline. Like, when people stress me, gives me a kick. I'm like, maza aa raha hai. So, I mean, but then on a more serious note, when things get very difficult for me, what I do is I just introspect. This is something that my husband, my dad, my brother, all the men in my life have taught me to sit down, introspect, prioritize, and write your goals. Like she said, goals are very important. Have micro goals and macro goals. You should sit down and rethink, revise, and then reiterate, and then go and perform. But I think apart from that, staying focused is definitely the key to being able to bounce back from where you are to where you should be. Take your time. Yeah, sometimes it's okay to just let go, and sometimes it's okay to just slow down, but then come back. Don't leave it at that.
But have you ever guys felt that pressure? Let's say, society has an image of a woman,
Absolutely.
and that this is what a woman should be like, right? So did you ever feel that pressure as to what kind of image you want to put into society? Are you able to do it?
No, I'm not able to do it.
I mean,
And I don't want to do it.
I mean, a lot of people have told me, a lot of people have expected Sundar and Sushil from me. I'm like, let me be Savitri.
Yes.
Not Sundar and Sushil. I don't know where they are. So yeah, I think just being myself is the key to.
Earlier, when I got married, there was a lot of pressure.
I know, I can understand Marwadi family. So
Yeah, Marwadi family. And then they used to call me, ये तो stubborn है, अकड़ू है, बाहर काम कर रही है तो घर का कुछ लेना देना नहीं है. But it's okay. I'm not happy being in that, typical kitty parties. And you respect all kitty parties. I don't want to be a part of that crowd.
Yeah, I think all women that have made it to the top are women that are very level-headed, and they do not confine to the boundaries that people have set them into. They don't want to be in the cage that people have put them into. That is why they are where they are. So I think all due respect to all the women that are doing very well for themselves.
And now it doesn't even matter, how the world labels us. It absolutely doesn't matter because we know what we are.
apart from skills, passion, the third thing what I learned from you is you have to be strong from here.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You have to be stronger. Only then probably you will be able to because a lot of times it's women again being very fragile and they get affected, and and if you get affected of what people think of you or what people tell of you, it's very easy to give up, right? But to
Correction.
fight back.
Correction there. I don't know who said women are fragile. Birthing a baby is almost like breaking several bones together. That's not fragile. That's madness. I mean, the amount of pain tolerance that women
Kudos and hats off to what you guys are doing and the way you have taken it up, because it's really again India still we talk about beti padhao, beti badhao,
Yeah.
we talk about a lot of things, but still I believe there's a lot of I don't know, there's a still gap in that acceptance that that
There is,
women
there is.
is at par and all, and through this podcast and through this medium what we want to also do is maybe parents who are watching this or the women who are watching this, we want them to understand that it's a level playing field. If they have the right skills, if they have the passion, and if you're strong from here, there's nothing that can stop you. Right? Had Lata Mangeshkar's mom stopped her from being a singer, you would have probably never had a singer like Lata Mangeshkar. If you could ban one fashion trend, what that would be?
loud.
Jazz and classy.
Awesome. What's the weirdest thing you have ever carried in your handbag?
A little plant. Yeah, I had a kokedama plant inside my bag. I don't know why I did that, but I don't know. Packet nahi mil raha tha, to handbag mein डाल दिया.
So who would win a fight, heels or sneakers?
Heels.
Heels.
What's your secret superpower that nobody knows about?
Stress tolerance.
Patience.
If you were a Bollywood character, who would it be?
Anushka Sharma.
Priyanka Chopra.
So if you could rename Monday, what would it be?
Work day.
Mundane.
What's one talent you wish to have but you totally don't?
ऐसा कुछ है ही नहीं बाबा. I am full of power.
मैं अपनी favorite हूँ.
अपनी favorite.
I want to be a dancer.
So if coffee could talk, what would you say to it every morning?
Please be sweet to me.
I'll say, beautiful, make me beautiful.
Would you rather fight one against cockroach or 100 tiny lizards?
Both.
I'm paranoid by both. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't want to fight them. I'd run away.
If you had a personal warning label, what it would say?
About to burst.
You said you have patience.
No, I'm saying.
We said
warning
we want to be
argument.
patient.
Either you want to be.
Yeah.
So if you're stuck in an elevator with a celebrity crush, what's the first thing you would say?
Hear my pitch deck because then he'll give me 8 minutes.
And then the project.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a pitch deck.
So what's the most useless advice you have ever received?
घर बैठो.
सच में घर बैठो.
मतलब बैठो क्यों?
घर का काम संभालो पहले.
Exactly. घर बैठो.
One household code you'd place someone $1,000,000 to do it for life.
चपाती बनाना.
Washing vessels. I don't think I'm cut out for that. Can't. I can wash brains. I mean, yeah, I can brain wash people, but not vessels.
What's the most dramatic thing you have ever done after having a bad hair day?
Oil it and pull it back.
There's no bad hair days for curly people.
I know.
We have bad hair days every day.
Every day.
That is good.
And people don't make it out also, it's a bad hair day. But if your life had a theme song, what would it be?
दिल में मेरे है दर्द समझाऊं मैं और किस किस को.
I'll say दिल झूम झूम झूम.
Awesome. If you could only eat one dessert for the rest of your life, what it would be?
Tiramisu.
Cheesecake.
What's a weird flex about you that nobody appreciates enough?
I mean, I know I'm all weird, so I don't know which part of me are they talking about. That's the biggest flex.
Alright.
Yeah, actually get that a lot. Like a lot of people tell me, dude, you're weird, but in a crazy way, and just you're amazing. So I'm like, oh, thanks. I don't know if that's good or bad, but whatever, it works.
I mean, whatever works. So what's your go-to excuse when you're late but don't want to admit it?
Dude, all my clients must be watching. That was traffic. Hyderabad.
Hyderabad traffic.
Traffic.
Sagar must have heard that too. Traffic mein hu.
Alright. What would be one role that you'd want to switch with?
I want to be my baby. She gets pampered so much. सब उसको थाली में मिल जाता है. I want to be a baby. I want to be my daughter to
Right now, no one. I'm happy.
Awesome. One celebrity that you want to work with?
For whom we want to design.
Yes.
Hrithik Roshan.
Virat and Anushka.
Wow. Alright. One biggest fear as a woman?
Wake up and not see my kids around.
Yeah, even mine would have been revolved around my son earlier, but now I'm gone through that phase and I'm happy with whatever I've put in with him.
Is kitchen just a women's place?
No,
But unfortunately, my husband doesn't.
my husband has started.
And my wife has purposefully hired a male cook.
No, actually, men are brilliant chefs, man.
Yeah,
They cook so well.
If you could redesign one famous monument, what it would be?
The Eiffel Tower.
I would want to redesign the Taj Mahal.
Wow. Nice. What's the most bizarre client request you have ever received?
10 acre project. Can you submit a project report in 10 days?
Wow.
कितने क्लास डाउन है ये?
I get
क्या बोल रहा
regarding,
है?
can you do my house in like 10 lakhs? entire
I
house.
want even less than that. 10 lakhs
Yeah.
फिर भी. मैं बोला भाई फोन रख तू.
You go to home
wrong
lane.
number है.
You go to home lane.
No, I have to say wrong number. When they say CC, I'm like wrong number.
So if architecture had a Bollywood theme song, what it would be?
कोई कहे कहता रहे. कितना भी
आगे.
कुछ तो लोग कहेंगे लोगों का काम है कहना.
हमको काम है करना.
काम है करना पैसे भी है कमाना. लिरिक्स बदल दिए.
What's more stressful? Working at the site or going for a wedding shopping?
वेडिंग शॉपिंग.
Building could talk. What's the funniest thing it would say about designs? About your designs?
बस भी कर बुलाएगा क्या?
put some more
ये आप
makeup.
मुझे बोल रहे हो या बिल्डिंग आपको बोल रही है?
Building would say put some more makeup.
बिल्डिंग.
So if you could build a dream house anywhere in the world, where would it be?
By the beach. I love
on
the
the
sound of
mountain
water.
somewhere on some hill station. Kunur.
We're so different.
Two different.
Like she's saying hill station, I'm saying beach.
Beaches and
But we
mountains.
both are minimalist.
Yeah, we both are minimalist.
हाँ वो दिख रहा है. All right.
नहीं जो भी कोई जैज होता था आर्किटेक्ट से पूरा सब पेन मैन के आता था.
हाँ वो फिर तो
हाँ,
चमक
गले
वमक.
में, हाँ.
ऐसे
Right.
ही बोलो.
हाँ. What's your guilty pleasure? Sketching at midnight or scrolling through Pinterest?
Scrolling.
Scrolling, yes.
Unendingly. Like I start at like 11 a.m. and I think okay 11:15 I'm going to stop and then I look at the time and then it's
Yeah.
1:15. I'm like damn it I
And
lost my sleep.
then what happens? Insta reads the same data and it will go on posting similar kind of stuff.
So then you get into a loop and then you're
Yeah,
scrolling
yeah.
even more.
And it was great conversing with you both. I mean, you both have your own texture. I mean, you are more of fun and you have more of experience as to when you talk. So it was amazing having a chat with you. And one last thing that I want to add up is I don't think that 8th of March is probably Women's Day. Every day, what probably you could do for a woman. That matters. It's not about that 8th of March where probably you do a lot of things, try to create a heaven in one single day. That doesn't happen and that doesn't work. Right? It's about what you do, small efforts every day. Probably as simple as probably opening the door of a car when your wife gets down or
Wow.
whatever.
How
right?
sweet.
Yeah.
My son does that. He
You're
brings
raising a
me-
gentleman.
He's 3 years old.
I mean, you're raising a
Gentle
gentleman.
baby.
Yeah.
Little baby. Yes. But
He brings me pomegranate and I don't know. He brings me flowers from downstairs. So sweet,
so
yeah.
men so probably future men being raised right
Absolutely,
is
absolutely.
so small things that probably you can do to make your women, when I say women, it need not be a spouse or a girlfriend always. I mean, it can be your mom, it can be your sister, it can be anyone. Small things that you can probably do when when they need support or because a lot of times they are hesitant about asking because of the already few things going in their head about what you would think about them when they come for help or something. So have an open mind and probably try to do what you can do on a daily basis instead of trying to do one lot of thing on just one single day.
I definitely want to say something to all the women out there that are watching, young, old, whatever it is. This is something that is very underrated, but all women should do this more often, which is communicate and ask. Talk to your man, talk to the men around you, tell them how you feel, communicate, because if you do not communicate, you don't get it. आखिर माँ भी तो पूछने से ही दूध देती है ना.
Awesome.
Agree.
No?
True,
So you have
true,
to
true,
communicate.
true. Very true, very true. So communication is the key in every relationship.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's all about communication. So awesome, guys. Thank you so much for watching this section of our podcast. Stay tuned for the next one. Thank you so much and wishing you all a very, very happy women's world. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
We enjoyed it.